This is The Other 51. I'm Brian, and this week I'm joined by Keith and Juliet Giglio, screenwriters of the new Christmas movie, Dear Christmas. My guest this week is our first husband-wife team that we've ever had on The Other 51. They are screenwriters of a series of Christmas movies, most recently Dear Christmas, which came out earlier this year. Keith and Juliet Giglio, welcome to The Other 51.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For having us.
Yeah, this is great. It's all of my schools come together. Juliet and I are colleagues at SUNY-Oswego, and Keith teaches at Syracuse, where I did my graduate work. So
we did some stellar work there.
Well, thank you.
Still talk about it.
I'm sure they do. Oh God, that's scary. So I always ask this when I have academics and teachers on, especially given this year. But for what you guys teach, how has this semester been going, and what are the kind of challenges and that you've been trying to overcome teaching throughout 2020?
Oh, wow.
Well, actually, I think it went really well.
Yeah.
And we both discovered that we like Zoom a lot.
For multiple reasons. One, Zoom does two things really well, I think. Everyone is in the front row of this class.
True.
And so you always have that is who's sitting in the back, how do I call it? So everyone's in the front row. The second thing is for students who tend to be a little more introverted, the chat box on Zoom is a wonderful feature where everyone is conversational.
Yeah.
So,
and also the breakout rooms too.
And the commute is amazing.
The commute is the best. Yes. As someone who lives in Rochester and doesn't have to commute to Oswego, that's been my favorite part of this year.
That's a drive.
You're even farther than I am. Yeah, I'm an hour away.
Yeah. So before we talk about the movie and the movies and your whole process, I know you guys were in LA before you came back to Central New York. That's not how people tend to think about moving. So how
I came for the weather.
So how did that happen? How did you guys move from LA to the Syracuse area?
Right. So we were professional screenwriters in LA for 20 years.
But we started though. I'm from Brooklyn.
Right, and I'm from DC, and we met at NYU.
We met at NYU,
and
we
all of
there.
our family lives back east.
Right.
So we always flirted with the idea of going back east.
But we went to LA for 20 years.
Right, and then, but during 2007, the Writers Guild strike hit, and that was a hard time for everybody. So during that period, we started teaching at UCLA Extension, or rather, I should say, Keith did.
I did.
Keith was, you won a big award there. You were
professor. I had a friend we had a family friend who was an NBA basketball player, and he played for 12 years. And when I met him, he was getting out of the business. I'm like, and kind of some similarity. Like, what are you going to do? He goes, I don't know. Maybe I'll go into, he had a degree from UCLA, great guy, 4-year degree. And he wound up becoming a sports agent, another career. So I said, what am I going to do after this, if this ends? And so I started getting into teaching.
Right. And so Keith got a tenure track job at Syracuse.
Mm-hmm.
And then a year later, I landed a tenure track job at Oswego. And that's how it came about. And then the irony is we sort of thought we were done writing scripts. We'd had success. We were happy with it. We were both writing books. We wrote a textbook together called Proof of Concept.
Which got turned into the CNY. I've never done the state, someone in the county reached out to us.
And found our book.
Found the book. Can we turn this into a contest? So we're the creators of the CNY short film competition.
Where the state gives out 4 grants of $40,000 each. And this was the second year that they did it. And that all came about because of this book that we wrote together. And then in 2018, my dad was here at Christmas time. My parents always come and everyone comes. Everyone loves the white Christmas of Syracuse. And he said, I've been watching these Christmas movies on Netflix, and I really love the Christmas Prince.
You guys should write it. So he basically says you guys should write a Christmas movie.
He said, this reminds me of the stuff you used to write, because we used to write a lot of rom-coms and fun family fare comedies.
So in a weird twist, around the time he's telling us, and we always tell our students it's so much about relationships, and you kind of break in groups. One of my college friends and Juliet's friends, since he met us 30 years ago, he was writing Christmas movies, but he was going on to a TV series. So he recommended us. He said, you guys should talk to my producer,
Paula Hart, who is Melissa Joan Hart's mother, obviously. And so like 3 weeks after my dad had said, "Hey, you should write a Christmas movie," we were pitching.
No, you're in Sundance.
I was in Sundance, right? And we were emailing Paula and sent her our writing sample, and she's like, "Great, I'd love to hear your pitch." And so we were in New York City in the end of January, and we pitched her the idea for A Very Nutty Christmas.
Right.
She loved it, and literally a day later, we were pitching it to the network, to Lifetime, and then 10 days later, it was not only did we sell it, but it was also greenlit.
Yeah.
And we were amazed because the process never happens this fast normally. And so suddenly, February 10th, we're writing this movie, and by I think May that year, they were filming it in Connecticut. And so we love that movie. It was such a fun process. We pitched another idea while we were still on the set, and that is the idea that became our second Christmas movie called Christmas Reservations.
Mm-hmm.
And that was also another great process. And
that we found out yesterday is now premiering in India. That was great. That was fantastic.
And what's important about that is that there's a great Indian subplot. And most Christmas movies don't have an Indian subplot, meaning someone from India. And
we try to make our movies a little more reflective,
right,
of how we think the world should kind of.
Right. But there's a really great Bollywood dance number near the end of Christmas Reservations. Anyway, so yeah, that's now in India. And the funny thing about Christmas Reservations is, as we were going to the set, one of my friends said, "Well, don't you want your Hitchcock moment? Don't you want to be in the movie?" And I thought, sure. And actually, I wore this sweater, which you can't see because this is a podcast, but I brought my Santa
it's blue
sweater
with the snowman on it. And the snowman has like a dead reindeer behind.
No, he doesn't. That's not true. That's not true.
Ugly,
it's a very cute
situation.
No.
Christmas sweater.
It's a classy, cute snowman sweater.
On the back, the Santa murder tour.
So, but anyway, I brought this sweater with me in my suitcase in May, and it was warm there. So obviously I didn't really need to wear it. But there was a moment when Paula turned to us and said, "Hey, you're here. Do you want to be in the movie?" I'm like, "Sure, I've got a Santa sweater." And lo and behold, we're in that movie.
Oh,
and we're very noticeable. We're background. Yeah, we don't say anything.
Not in the movie.
Yeah.
We don't save the day at the end.
No, but we were, and we were looking, and so anyways, on that movie set, did we pitch the idea for Dear Christmas? Yes,
we did. So what usually happens is we got to the set, and then we'd hang out and talk to the producers and Melissa about what we might do next year. And that's worked out well. This year, obviously,
we did not.
We did not get to the set.
No.
Yeah. And this movie, Dear Christmas, had a different version in some ways. And then the network called and said, "Can you rewrite it for COVID?"
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the core story was the same.
Right.
It was the same story, but it was a little simple things, like instead of having a big 5K ugly sweater race, which is something we actually did in Liverpool with our daughter in the rain.
We love Syracuse.
We love Syracuse. But instead of doing that, we just had an ugly sweater Christmas party, and you don't actually see the party, you hear it. Right. We had to make tweaks for that, but we're still really happy with the movie. And
it forced us but it really kind of led us to really focus deeper on the characters. So, there are influences like the Julie Delphi movie.
Before Sunrise, After Sunrise. Yeah.
So, we hope to
where you have
elevated a little bit.
Characters, spending time and getting to know each other. And then when we heard, and Melissa was great, by the way, during the development process. She was terrific, and she was involved. And then when they came to casting, we were thrilled when they knew we got Jason Priestley, because everyone loves Jason and remembers him from 90210. And we think that they had really great chemistry on the screen, Melissa and Jason.
Yeah. And we're starting to hear back that the ratings were good, and everyone seems to be happy.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you because my wife and especially my mother-in-law are all about these movies. My mother-in-law, I kid you not, has the schedule for Lifetime and Hallmark on her fridge so she can know when it's coming. And when we introduced her to Netflix, it was just, her mind was blown. She's been watching these since before Thanksgiving. Right?
It's like a space odyssey for her.
Tell your mother-in-law we love her. That's great.
Yeah. It's like we're very lucky and fortunate to be working and thrilled to be working from Syracuse. So we kind of always talked about moving back east and writing from here. So it's worked out.
So when you when you watch the Christmas Prince and your father and your family kind of got you to watching this movie and like you should write a Christmas movie. I mean, first of all, had you ever thought of doing one like that before?
No, honestly, no. And we actually I've never even seen The Christmas Prince.
Yeah.
I only watch Lifetime Christmas movies.
We started with the what ifs. You start with the what ifs. And we kind of said, what's our, we love Elf. We're big fans of Elf. And we love Splash. So we said, somehow we came and stumbled upon a Nutcracker coming to life.
Mm-hmm.
And, from that, you just kind of go, and then what happens? But then, and we developed a story.
Yeah, and the other thing is, even though we'd never thought about writing a Christmas movie, we go all out at Christmas. You can't see our house right now, but we have 5 lit Christmas trees. Our whole dining room is
overly decorated.
So if you're all out on Christmas, what are your favorite Christmas movies?
Holiday.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Love Actually. Elf, of course.
Yeah. What's the other one?
Those are the big 4.
It's pre-Christmas, but I always put planes, trains, automobiles.
Sure.
It starts the Christmas season for me.
The Holiday, that is such an underrated holiday Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Such a great movie. And Nancy Myers, love her. We're big fans. And we always watch that every year. All those movies I listed, we watch every year.
What are the other ones? Dear Christmas, Christmas Reservation, some of our favorites.
Right.
A Very Nutty Christmas. Yes.
So from your standpoint, what is something every Christmas movie needs to have? Like what makes a good Christmas movie a good Christmas movie?
I think you need to have some magic happening at Christmas.
Okay.
You have to set up the character wants something and needs something, and that it might not happen during the normal time of the year, but that it's going to happen during the Christmas season. Yeah. And it's not religious. It could happen to anybody.
It's kindness. It's kindness. It's love. It's acceptance. That's kind of what it is for us.
Okay. What does the writing process look like for you guys, especially because you're tandem writers? So how do you write together? What does that look like?
We spend a lot of time breaking the story, and we use a lot of different tools. Like we use giant whiteboards. We take index cards and card it out.
Yep.
Once we've done that, then we put it onto like a Trello board, which is a program on the computer.
It's a lot easier now. Technology has really kind of caught up. So we do a lot of work where we used to just fight over the keyboard in an office. And then, I think I hardwired 2 computers together once so we can both in the same time. Now we just use Google Docs and then get the story down. And we go there from log line to outline to revised outline. It gets bigger each time. To basically, then we have the full outline and we just start writing it. And
it's a while before we actually get into the final draft program.
Right.
That we'll
have a rough draft on a Google Drive program, Google Docs, and then transfer it into script writing software.
Okay. So, Juliet, you use the phrase that I've heard a lot of script writers and showrunners use in interviews: break the story. Obviously, coming from a journalism standpoint, that means something really specific. What does that mean in your world when you say break a story? What is that, and what is the process of doing that?
So you're coming up with who the characters are. You spend a lot of time with that, their descriptions, what their arcs are going to be, their character arc. And then you spend a lot of time with the structure. Yeah. There's a very clear structure. And then these Christmas movies have their own structure as well. They have
a different act structure. What we like to do is put it up on a board, right? Put it up on, like Juliet said, either
index cards
using a program called Trello. But we prefer index cards because then you can look back and you can basically see a visual representation of your screenplay. And we look for the moments. You start looking for the arcs and the transitions and all of that kind of technical marionette, pulling the strings kind of thing.
Because when you're breaking the story, you want to make sure you have like a big turning point at the end of each act break. And you want to make sure that it doesn't just feel episodic, that it's building. And
the characters are changing emotionally. When they're changing, what forces them. Emotion, events lead to emotion. We always say it's characters make choices that lead to change. So we have to see that. People don't want to change. People don't like changing.
I mean, our hope is that we figure out the plot, that we really figure out the plot before we start writing in the program. But the reality is, even though we figure it out so much, there are always surprises.
Right.
And because once we get into the screenplay writing program, that's where we tend to split up the acts. And so I'll be writing a certain act, you'll be doing another one, and then we'll switch with each other and we'll rewrite each other's stuff, and then we move forward.
And we need to figure out, I can use this earlier. Because I think any form, I don't think, maybe not journalism, but any form of, I know novel writing, screenwriting, TV writing is elliptical. You're kind of always going forward and backward at the same time.
And so how much of in that outline that you're talking about, how much do you know you have the characters? So do you do a lot of character work and kind of figuring out what they want, or do you have a story and then fill the characters in, or is it kind of 6 of 1 and that depends on the project? Or
it's like what comes first, the chicken before the egg? Does the character come first or does the plot? And I think because we've been writing for Melissa, a lot of times the character comes first, and then the plot.
But for Nutty, we had no idea what the ending of Nutty was going to be. And at one point, we had him lost in the woods. It's like, you start to do a dark mystery. But by writing that bad version, we found our way.
Came up with a better version.
Does it help having written for Melissa for a while and kind of knowing, you write for her almost every year now, and so how much does that help you develop characters for her, or kind of the writing process, knowing her strengths as an actor, or what, kind of being able to write specifically with somebody in mind rather than, random character actor Y or something like that?
It is really helpful because we know Melissa's really great at selling, being heartfelt and also being really funny.
But she also has great character notes and development notes on story. So this is why she also gets a producer credit on that with her. Mom was the main producer.
Right. So can you give me an just as an example, this is a new world to me, but what are some of the good character notes that an actor will bring back to you after they read a script?
My favorite, it doesn't apply to, I don't know if it applies to Melissa or not, but we've been doing this for a while. You don't need to write that. I can act that.
Okay.
You don't need to write that reaction. I can say that with my facial expression. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think she said that. That was someone else.
That was someone else.
Yeah. And I remember someone else once said to us, you don't need to. You can cut out the beginning. You can cut out the end of a scene. You can jump in sooner. Right. I mean, Melissa, we talk a lot about motivation. What's motivating her character to do certain thing, and that's been very helpful.
And in this last one, a lot of conversations about what is true love.
Right.
And so just getting on the phone and just talking about what is true love, and each telling their stories and being in love before and finding true love, which is the script.
Right. So I'm curious too, as you're kind of writing and developing these stories, how do you kind of balance out between telling a new story, telling a good, meaningful story, but also, and I'm thinking of the audience like my mother-in-law here, who watches these movies probably with a specific happily ever after ending in mind, or a typical point of view. I hope I'm saying this right, but kind of how do you balance out writing to maybe audience expectations, especially in a genre like this, versus trying to tell a meaningful story or tell a story that resonates?
Yeah. That's a good question. And I think one way that we try to do is we know there's certain things we have to hit. They're going to get together in the end. We can't change that. And that's great though. I want to see them get together in the end. Right. But I think what we try to do then is we try to make their characters more unique and their occupations more unique and the situations more unique.
The trick is that the audience wants to get there. As much as people say they don't want the happy ending, I think for most parts, people do want the happy ending because they want to believe in love, they want to believe in hope, they want to believe there's a brighter day tomorrow. The but the challenge is to kind of get them there in a way they didn't suspect. Yeah. And, if they could see it coming, look, for example, we always have friends read our scripts. And, some friends start reading, okay, this is going to happen because they're professional screenwriters. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. But we think about our audience and we sit there and say, if we were watching this, how could we have fun with it?
It's a lot of that is the process. How does the character get there? How do they get to true love, or in this case, true love? Yeah. And that's where we try to make it a little bit different if we can. Although granted, most Christmas movies have either someone decorating a tree or making cookies or certain things that are going to happen, but you try to do it in a slightly different way.
Right. So instead of a journalist, we have a podcaster. Right.
We had the dad baking the cookies in this one, trying to change it up a little bit. Giving a pregnant sister there, telling her story. I mean, that was a fun part of the script that was always in the script, even before COVID. Yeah, Dear Christmas, we had the video testimonials. That was always a really fun part of the script, and we're big fans of Harry Met Sally, which was I think almost 20 years ago now.
Everyone is always standing on the shoulders of someone else. Yeah, so we like to we watch a lot of movies, see what happened, the scene, try it this way. And hopefully it comes together, and we feel this one did.
Yeah. So you mentioned the four big Christmas movies. It was Elf, Wonderful Life, Holiday, and was it
Love Actually?
Love Actually. What about, so you watch those every Christmas year. What about those four stand out to you guys among all the other Christmas movies? Like, what makes those the big four for you guys?
I think Love Actually is such a perennial, and I'm always discovering new things. There's so many plots, and it's so tricky.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it. And I think Elf is just the childlike magic.
Yeah. The fun.
And then the Holiday is just seeing these two.
This Holiday was so fresh.
So fresh and so different.
It was so taking that, because people swapping homes was really popular at that time. But to take that and set it around Christmas was just like, it was uniquely familiar. It's like, it seemed like someone should have beat her to that movie, but Nancy Minas saw it and said, there's a Christmas movie in that. It's a Wonderful Life. It's just because it's just, to me, classic and speaks to, faith and love. And you think things are bad in your life, and then at the end of the day, maybe as we age, we appreciate it more and more, but it wasn't a hit.
No, that's it. As you were going to say, the irony was it was a bomb when it came out.
PBS started showing it, and people got big.
Right. I mean, I use that as a copyright example in my law class, because that went into the public domain for a lot of years, and it got popular because they needed 2 hours during December they had open programming put in It's a Wonderful Life, and people got back to it. So, but in the Holiday, we watch that usually every year too. And of all the performances, Jack Black in that movie just blows me away. Like, you don't expect him to be the quiet kind of,
introspective.
Yeah. Right. And he just plays so out of character. It's so wonderful. Yeah. So what's it like being and seeing this genre movie that you guys kind of jump back into, and it's kind of become, I don't know if it's cult, if that's really right, but it's really become super popular and kind of super cultural over the past couple of years, between Lifetime, Hallmark, Netflix, and all these movies. What's it like kind of being a part of that?
It's great.
It's great,
It's good. I'm having a great time. Much better than reading about them.
It's really exciting, and I can't tell you how many people I've met who just really love these movies and have told me how much it means to them. Whether it's my dental hygienist or someone at the grocery store or doctor. People.
The strangest thing I ever saw was when Very Nutty Christmas was premiering. The New York Times wrote what to watch this weekend: The Shining and A Very Nutty Christmas. This didn't just happen. And I don't know. We like, it's something we would turn on and watch. And I think with the studios making less and less of these, and like they used to make the Holiday and the Santa Claus movies and Elf and Polar Express and Jim Carrey's, they're not doing that anymore.
Right? Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's globalization, where you have to kind of write something that kind of relates to is made for everyone in the world.
Sure.
Yeah.
So how much you mentioned having to kind of do some rewrites on this because of COVID, and I assume the effect it had on all production. How big and what was that process like? Like, how much changes did you have to do to it, or were they able to work around it, or?
Yeah, pretty much because movies.
I mean, to be honest, screenwriting is rewriting.
Yeah.
And it always occurs. It wasn't like this was anything that different. You always are rewriting, and that's completely normal.
We lost that location. You need to check it here.
Or we have some more time. We think it'd be great if we added the scene, and then you'll add that scene.
This year there was some Jimmy Fallon stuff we had to add in, and we need to rewrite the. And then we were home, and they were shooting, and they said we need another scene like the night before Christmas. And so we sat for a few hours and wrote that scene. It's one of our favorite scenes in the movie. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't conceived from the beginning. It wasn't in the outlines. No one had talked about it. It wasn't in the shooting. But it was needed.
So, I mean, is that, you mentioned about rewriting, and it's something obviously we always talk to our students about. Writing is rewriting, and especially in screenwriting. And how much of in general, I mean, you guys have been doing this long enough to be used to it, but how much of an adjustment is that, or how do you kind of wrap around that? You're going to be rewriting a lot. It's not like first draft's going to be great, or even second draft, and you're going to be adding stuff and changing and revising the whole way.
So I think the way we look at it is we know that the film business is so collaborative, and that's why we're okay with rewriting. We understand that we can't just write something it's going to be performed.
Yeah, but a caveat to that is make sure you're working with good people and that everyone is making the same movie. So Paula Hart, Melissa Joan Hart, our execs at Lifetime, we're all kind of really talk early on about what movie we're making tonally wise. Because we've had situations, I'm not naming names or projects, where one producer will be telling us one thing, the studio will be telling us another thing, and that thing is just still going to fall into development hell.
Gotcha. So I ask everybody I have on my podcast this question, so I'll ask you too. What is the best thing you've read lately?
Wow, the best thing I've read lately. What I just read? Oh, I'm reading Pictures from the Revolution. It's a Mark Harris book. Mark Harris wrote about 5 Came Back. 5 Came Back is about William Wyler, Frank Capra, George Stevens, John Ford, and the last one. Going off to John Huston, going off to war and filming it. So his new book is about movies made in 1968 and how it changes the culture of filmmaking. So like The Graduate, Dr. Dolittle, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. So that's what I'm at, Bonnie and Clyde, and so that's what I'm reading.
And I've actually been really enjoying Curtis Sittenfeld, who wrote Etiquette and Prep. Anyway, she has a great short stories collection, and that's what I just finished. I really good to read short stories during Christmas time.
Oh yeah, it does kind of fit the spirit of the season or something.
Plus we're getting into the book business.
Oh really?
Yeah. So we sold a 2-book deal to Source Books.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so we're going to be writing romantic comedies for them.
Okay.
Which will be very fun. And that's what we're in the midst of right now as well.
Excellent. So how's that different from writing a script and writing screenplays?
Oh, it's great. A script is this. A script, the dad takes the football and throws it to the son, and the son catches it. A novel is this. A book is this. Not a book. Father throws the ball in the air, remembers this time, remembers this, remember what happened, worries about the future, blah, 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 and then the ball hits the kid in the head. Well, one, you got 3 seconds, and, screenwriting is basically freestyle swimming in a lap pool. There's a certain constraint.
This is like swimming in the ocean.
Yeah.
You can go as far as you want.
Right.
So it's a very different muscle. But we broke the story the same way we would a screenplay, and now we're each writing separate chapters and passing them back and forth. So it's similar.
Awesome. Well, can't wait to read those. Can't wait to see them come out. And guys, thank you so much. This has been wonderful. Thank you very much, and happy holidays.
Thank you. Thanks, Brian, for having us.
Stay safe. Everyone wear a mask. Stay safe.
Thanks for listening to The Other 51. Show notes for this and all of our episodes can be found at sportsmediaguide.com by clicking on the Other 51 tab. If you like the show, please consider giving it a rating and a review, either at Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. It really does help people find the show. Our theme music is by Ellie Moritz.